sometimes you're out and you see something that you really like, especially at thrift stores, and you might like the look of it, but it's not exactly what you want for your room, but grab it anyway if you love it, because you can make changes. Let's take a look at a DIY that I recently did on a gorgeous wall sconce that I found that I love the lines of it, but it was really shiny and I didn't like that because it made it look very, very cheap. Okay, so I thrifted this a few weeks ago and I thought it would be perfect for in my dining room. So I loved the ornate details of it, but what I didn't like is that it is so shiny. That gold is just too shiny for me. So I am going to put some Rub and Buff on it in the antique gold, and then I'm going to come back in, and I've already put some black acrylic paint, but I'm thinking that after I do the Rub and Buff, I'm probably going to have to do some more of the paint. I just want to give it an aged look. So let's see how we can do this. I'm going to go in, and it just takes a little bit, and I'm putting this on with a paper towel. It doesn't take much at all, Rub and Buff, but let's see what kind of a look. Yeah, that's toning it down quite a bit. I'm working in the family room because this is an oil-based, and because of the bird, we can't get any fumes out in the rest of the house, and the family room is kind of closed off from the rest of the house, so a little bit does go a long way. I don't want to get too much on it. I want to get down in the crevices, make sure I get all of that. So it'll go on, it'll kind of be dull, but then when you go back and you buff it, that's when you get your sheen. I'm going to do all of these ornate details and see if I can get some of that acrylic paint. I figured it would cover it up. But when I buff it, around the edges, it's looking really good where I put the acrylic black. You can actually rub this on with your finger, but it does stain. So I try to put it on with a cloth when I can. Where I put the black acrylic, and it's some of that's coming through. I love that look. And if I get a little bit on my hand, it's not the end of the world. So I think that looks good. Now I'm going to go back and buff it. Then I'll show you how I come back in and do some outlines with the black. I think that looks much better. Okay, so that is a nice little DIY. I tell you, if you're a thrifter, Rub and Buff would be your best friend. What it is, Rub and Buff. So you put it on and then you buff it off, and that's where you get the sheen. So I'm using the acrylic paint, I'm using water, and now I'm going to come over here and do just some outline. The bird's going crazy. That's the bird. She hears me talking and she wants attention. And then if I get it too much, like I can come back in and put some more Rub and Buff on it, like right in here. I don't know if you can see on camera, but I'm really liking the way it's looking. It's looking very aged. Maybe around in here I'll do, because that's where it would naturally age. So by just going, it's hard to hold it up. Just to align. Come back in and dab, just dab it. And you just play with it until you get the look that you want. So we'll see how it looks once I get it hung.